So welcome to LawFlip. This is a conversation about guns, selfish people in America, scumbag politicians, the inability to cry by yours truly, and the ability for Arian to cry. This kid cries 2 to 3 times a week.
I do.
Why? Why does he cry 2 to 3 times a week? And why am I unable to? And why is this country so effed up? This is a good opportunity to hear our thoughts in between therapy. So Arian's therapy session was this morning and mine is after this podcast. So you get to feel like what it's like in between, you know, it's a little dance. And we get to talk about how even though we love America like we love our family, there are people in our family or friends that we have to put boundaries around or that it's impossible to figure out.
And I'm a little less nuanced.
What is it?
Fuck Republicans.
So you should watch this episode because you could vent and cry with Arian and just listen to me. Anyway, follow us on social media, LawFlip, LawFlip, LawFlip. For anybody who's an attorney or you have any friends that are attorneys, they need to be on our platform where you could refer cases to other attorneys. It's lawflip.com. Hit us up. Let's get into it.
LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down. LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down.
I want to talk to you about family, okay? Family.
Let's talk about family.
Okay. So I don't know about your family, but or family, friends, right? Like there's always people in your life that you love and you can't stand. Right? They're just, you love them, but they're unreasonable. You try every which way to break through to them. You can't. They're stuck in their ways. You go to therapy. You try to put up boundaries. You would love to cut them out completely sometimes. Like, really, goodbye. Get out of my life. And then you're like, but that's not a good option because I have to keep them in my life because I love them and they're important to me. You have any situations like that?
Tons.
Okay. And it's really hard, right?
It's because you start resenting those people, but still you love them to death.
Mm-hmm.
And you would die for them. And it's a very conflicting feeling. And
you want to figure out a solution, but sometimes you just like want to give up. You just like, you know what? It's not worth it anymore. And then you want to give up and you're like, wait a second, but like, I can't cut this person out of my life because it'll have this consequence and right. And it doesn't mean that you don't love those people. It just means that there's a part of them that makes you sick and it makes you angry and resentful. And that's how I feel about America right now. I love America. I love being an American. But there are some parts of this family of America that make me fucking sick to my stomach. It doesn't mean that I don't love America because I do. I really wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world. Although there's a couple arguments to move to like Costa Rica or some other places, but maybe Bali. But I love America. But like there's some cancer in this country. There's some really toxic stuff that and you want to just, you know, with a situation like this where you have a massive killing of children in a school, what you want to do is you're like, so what are the choices? Like part of you is so angry you just want to like have them have a taste of their own medicine, and you have these fantasies of like, how would it feel if one of these piece of shit senators had their kids killed? And you're like, no, they're just kids, and even though they have piece of shit parents, you don't want them to be killed to be an example. And then you're like, okay, nothing's ever going to happen because politics are so screwed up. Nothing's ever going to happen. So let me just move on with my life and accept this. But that's not okay. What do we do? How do we handle this situation? And it's the same type of challenge with your family. Like, you love America, but do you just accept? Do you just put the boundary up where you just accept that you have a fucked up family and this is what we live with?
I think accepting it is for sure part of it. I think you have to accept some things, but I think here, particularly in this country at this time, I don't think we can ever stop pushing towards reform.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm in a bubble. I've never owned a gun. The last thing in my life that I want to own is a gun. I think it's like...
Have you ever shot a gun?
Yes. I don't think it's cool. I think it's for losers. I think if there's anything in life that is for losers, other than military people and police people...
Whoa.
What?
What do you mean? Being a cop is a loser thing?
No. What I'm saying is carrying a gun for people other than service people.
I see. So if you're a police officer, if you're in the military, you're a security guard, your
Absolutely.
job is to carry around a gun.
Correct.
Carry around a gun.
Yeah, no. I respect.
Okay.
Yeah, no, of course. That. I mean, not of course. I understand that. That makes sense to me.
Makes sense to anybody.
Right. What I don't understand is why a person thinks that it's cool or that there's anything worthy of carrying a gun if it's, especially like an AR-15 or I don't.
There aren't good gun right arguments. There just aren't.
Okay, so let's go through them. The tyranny of government. The government is going to come and take your property
Who runs the electricity in your fucking house? Who runs the
Government.
water in your
Government.
fucking house?
Government.
How do you get your internet? You think...
Well, private companies run that.
Shut the fuck up, private companies run that. AT&T and the NSA have been best butt fuck buddies since 2001.
Okay.
If the government wants to fuck you up, they will fuck you up. If they want to come after you, they will come after you. Your bullshit gun, I don't care what, you can have a fucking tank. They will blow you off this planet like that.
Right.
So shut the fuck up with the tyranny of government. It's done. If they want you, they'll take you.
I want to protect myself from an intruder. The likelihood
Call the fucking police.
Yeah, and the likelihood. When have you ever, like, the whole like good guy with a gun? I'm looking for the stories because you see it sometimes, but how often? First of all, how often do you see the good guy, other than in Fauda and in crazy Netflix, 24 shows like that? When do you ever see a good guy with an AR-15? Yeah. Like, you sometimes see like a person with a pistol.
Yeah,
save
every
the
once
day.
in a while. Like, I remember that story of like in a church or something one time, this like good guy with a gun came out, like shot this guy who was walking. And sure, that was a handgun.
But how often do you there's hundreds of millions of guns. And I think the moment, because I have this annoying lawyer brain, they immediately go to what the other argument's going to be, which is how often, if you really think about it, if there's hundreds of millions of guns and there's only X amount of mass killings a year, like what a small percentage of those guns are used in mass killings.
But again, it's like, I'm not coming after your guns, dude.
See, I do want to come after your guns. That's. I think I'm looking forward to a moderate politician that is basically moderate on almost all issues, but then it goes for an extreme gun measure.
Really?
Yeah, because the real truth is, most people do want most guns confiscated. They do. I do. I don't care if I don't have a gun. Why am I interested in, like, if I really believed in guns, I would have one. I don't, because I don't believe in it. I don't believe that it makes sense, even in this psychotic world, to have one. Of course, I'll find myself in a situation tomorrow where I'm like, fuck, I wish I had a gun. But like, I certainly don't believe that it makes sense for me to have a semi-automatic weapon.
Right.
And this is just that entitled society where like, I think that we can't be bothered. What human being wakes up this morning and thinks that their fucking stupid loser right to a gun is more important than the rights of these families that got fucked forever?
Like a lot of people, like lot of
they
fucking
don't even
people.
I see some people who are generally like, you know, right wing that like are posting the different captions and images and stuff, you know, today and yesterday, sort of like saying how Steve Kerr, they'll post Steve Kerr's speech, and I'm like, wait, you're like a right wing guy, but you're posting that so you understand this, and then you start to think, wait, I forgot. 90% of the country basically believes in like universal background checks, and it's just the NRA that's holding like the Senate hostage. And it's not cool. So guns aren't cool. Like with this whole idea of like, it's cool to be tough with a gun. I think it's the most pussy thing you like, why is it tough to have a gun? I just think it's like that upside down thing where it's like somebody who has a several $100,000 car flexing. It's like, no, if you're tough, you fight. You don't shoot.
Right.
So I don't know.
The discussion can go in so many different directions. And I think like wherever you take it. Wow, that's some chewing. That is some chewing.
I'm sorry. I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous about our country, not about this. I mean,
so it's like wherever you take the conversation.
Yeah.
It is there is a group of people that is unwilling to just engage, because I don't think it's possible to engage into the conversation and not end up on like guns are stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's there for death and destruction. That's all it is. Like a weapon's purpose is death and destruction.
Shooting animals, you're a pussy.
And like
what the only argument is that good guy with a gun. Because
I hear the hunting argument. You know,
why?
You're somebody who like hunts deer. You're like grabbing your own food. You live on the mountainside.
No.
You're grabbing a rabbit. Why not?
And what should you have to go through to be able to do that?
You go through school the same way you go to get your driver's license.
Yeah.
You go to school to get your driver's license. You go to school. You have to have 6 hours training with somebody. You teach you how to fucking use the gun. Put it in a lockbox. Like,
I mean, I passed the bar exam. It was like a root canal over and over and over and over again, right? Moral turpitude test. You got to fill it out. It's brutal. That's just to practice law, not to kill somebody. Although, you know, arguably litigating, you could really torture people. But I don't know. It's hard for me to have any, like, you know, this whole argument, there's good people on both sides of the debate. I hear that, but there's not good arguments.
There's just not. I'm sorry. They're like, if you look at those kids become outraged and then do nothing
right
to stop it from happening again, you're not a good person.
So
I'm not going to call you a good person. You're not a good person.
That's the thing is like, okay, I hear that you can detract from the arguments for gun control. I could hear, okay, the proposed arguments for gun legislation wouldn't prevent deaths like this. That's an argument. But what I don't hear is a proposal for what
First
would.
of all, no, that's not it's literally not a good argument. You like it's not like this hasn't been tested in other countries. You look at other countries, they pass those laws, shootings go down.
Right, because it's not like it may not affect this, but this particular law may not affect this particular shooting, but you pass gun legislation and the risk of these things happening goes down because you're being tighter with it. I mean, it's just the tough part is when you hear people say that, you know, these proposed pieces of legislation wouldn't work or that they don't make sense, if you don't then follow up with but I have a proposal. When was the last time you saw Republicans say we have a brutal problem?
Here's an idea. Here's a solution.
You don't see
I've
that.
never heard a solution to any problem from a Republican. I don't know, in the past like 5 years.
What do you say? What's a Farsi word you could use about this situation? Give me the
I don't have anything like shitty enough to describe, like, my vocabulary isn't good enough.
Well, what do you say about a family member who is impossible to deal with?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's just we're stuck. I think Steve Kerr said it, like, we're being held hostage in our own country by people because of power.
I've talked about it on this podcast many a times, but I'm going to talk about it again. John Oliver did this fucking piece on gun control in Australia. Just go watch it. Just spend 20 minutes. If you're listening to this goddamn podcast, go watch it. Spend 20 fucking minutes watching this, because you could see how toothless American politicians are. Who's
the worst?
I feel like you could kind of like just pick out anybody on the Republican. You could pick out anybody on the Democrat side too.
Yeah.
Like Republicans have taught us that if you play dirty enough, you could get whatever you fucking want to happen. Whatever you want. Like right now, there are literally primary races all over this country of like straight up Republicans who like said, like, I'm just going to overturn the election if I
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she won.
Yeah, like these people, they don't mind getting fucking dirty to get what they want.
Herschel Walker, he's like, yesterday he said he's the guy running in Georgia and he won the Senate like primary in Georgia for senator. He really is a moron. And he's like, I've never heard Trump say that the election was stolen. It's just it's like the upside down
like,
world.
I don't mind Democrats getting a little fucked up, getting a little bit in the dirt to pass some real gun control legislation. Like pick one thing and just fucking do it. Just fucking do it.
But now they can't get anything done. They can't get anything done.
Why do you think it is? Because I don't believe that everybody there is corrupt. You know? Like there are people, particularly policy people, who come in there with a agenda they believe in and that we believe in. So what is the thing that stops? Is it just like dark money that like runs into these campaigns? You just buy off these senators?
It's also like the culture is you start off with the gun culture, but then you have the conspiracy culture, which is rampant right now. So you have gun culture, and then the idea of taking away guns or gun rights. It's the worst timing possible. It's just the worst timing possible. You have people who just distrust everything because of all of the disinformation, and then you have gun culture. It's an impossible climate to get something done, like putting gun control, and it just seems like it.
I mean, you look at this next story. Republicans vow to kill domestic terrorism bill in Senate. You know what I mean? Coming on the heels of Republicans not passing the bill for baby formula.
Right.
It feels to me, wherever you fucking look, all Republicans are saying is just no.
No, and it's just you know that feeling of when I'm dealing with an opposing counselor, I'm dealing with a friend or family, and you propose something like common sense, and it's just and you know it's going to be rejected too. It's not even like you don't even actually believe that it's going to be considered, and that's what you're dealing with. I think that how we've gotten to a time where this type of thing happens and there's not a consensus around let's do something, and it just feels helpless. And then there's another story where this Texas family sues Apple, claiming the loud Amber Alert damaged their son's hearing.
Selfish.
Yeah.
Selfish.
Yeah.
It's a fucking Amber Alert. A fucking child just got abducted and you're bitching about how loud the fucking notification is.
It's the perfect symbol for America. Look, to be fair, that fucking Amber Alert is loud as hell.
But look, you look at Apple, and the things that they do for accessibility is insane.
They do.
Like the features they have for blind people, for deaf people, for like even for hearing. There is this little thing, it's like called Live Listen or some shit like that. And when you have AirPods in, it literally tells you how loud it's getting. And if it gets too loud, you get a notification that it's too loud. Shut the fuck up. This Amber Alert is too loud. And it goes to the bigger point of like how selfish these people are. Like the problem isn't the child being abducted, it's the notification.
Right.
You know what I mean? The problem isn't 21 fucking people, 19 fucking people, children being murdered. It's, hey, you're trying to take my guns away. You're selfish. You're selfish. You're selfish. Rant done.
It's not a collectivistic country. It's an individual focused.
You're not here for your neighbor, you know?
No.
You're not.
The weirdest part is that if you do go to like, you know, the places where this is most true, like the South and whatever, you meet them, you encounter them, they're nice. They want to help you. There's such a disconnect.
You don't have to. You can shine your flashlight anywhere in the Republican Party, and you can see how fucked up it is. Like the all lives matter. Like, do you realize how fucking
psychotic that is?
Like you look back, like that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think things have like cooled down a little bit where you could look back at it a little bit more.
They're
objectively.
narcissistic. They can't let they're so narcissistic. They can't let black people have a moment.
Yeah. So they're like, no. Your life doesn't matter. All lives matter.
Right.
Shut the fuck up, please. Please go home.
That's what this is. Your deaths don't matter. My guns matter.
Yeah.
It even goes to, what was this other story? So that's the, you know, basically this Carlos Gordoa and Ariana Reyes claim their son, who was 12 at the time, was using his Pro earbuds paired with his phone to watch a movie on Netflix when the Amber Alert came through. And, you know, they're claiming that he suffered injuries to his hearing. All right. Let's move on to another...
Mike.
Let's move on to another crazy story. So, do you think you should be liable if you hit someone if your car is an autopilot?
Well, all right. Let's get something straight. This autopilot is beta, okay? And even when it, and even then, even the most sophisticated autopilots, even this autopilot, makes it very clear that you still have to be completely attentive. This is a new technology that is still working a lot of kinks out. And sure, it is driving for the moment, but you are still the one responsible, and it's made very clear to you when you walk into the car, when you turn on that autopilot, that you are still in charge.
Yeah, I chose not to get it because I don't have the balls to even use it.
I don't mind using it, but it's like,
what's the point of using it if you can't really rely on it? What's the point? If you really can't rely on it, what's the point?
Well, okay, this is a great question, because it goes to, what is the autopilot for right now? What is this offering? This offering isn't so you could get drunk one night, get in the car, and have the car drive you home. This is for people who want to be on the precipice of technology and growth in this sector, and who want to participate in the infancy stage of self-driving vehicles.
Mazel tov. To do something different with technology.
No. I'm saying that is okay as long as you understand that that's what you're doing and you are still completely responsible for the car that you're sitting in.
It's just not ready for prime time. It's the features are not ready for prime time. I actually believe.
But I'm saying they're not being advertised as ready for prime time either.
That's fair. But they're kind of being. I feel like they have that. They've said that Autopilot and a more sophisticated full self-driving system cannot drive them. Oh, I guess that's true.
Like they're not advertising it as that. Like they say themselves, this is for people who are just trying to experience it's beta, and you are still completely responsible.
Yeah. So
I don't think that Autopilot being on or off in these cars matter at all in any of these cases yet. Maybe once Tesla starts saying, hey, this Autopilot can take you from point A to B, that's a different story.
Yeah.
At that point, Tesla's driving your car.
Yeah. That's a fair.
Right now, you're driving the fucking car. It doesn't matter if it's on or off.
Yeah, it's like you're driving and you're using Waze and Waze malfunctions. You still gotta look at the road. A judge ruled Thursday that a trial can proceed against a Tesla Model S driver in a 2019 crash that left 2 people dead in Gardenia. It's believed that this is the first felony prosecution in the U.S. against a driver using a partially automated driving system. It's rough because I don't know. I don't know. Holding the driver accountable, you kind of have to. It's tough.
I don't think it's that tough.
Yeah.
They say that it's not good. I mean, dude, Elon Musk himself comes out and says that it's like not there yet.
Yeah.
He did that interview. He's like, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah, the driver's responsible.
Almost there means not there yet.
Because look, somebody's got to be responsible. So you're the one who's choosing to use that feature.
Yeah, if you don't want to be responsible for self-driving, don't use self-driving.
Right.
There you go.
Okay. So, we talked about the Republicans vowed to basically, Senate Republicans are lining up against a House-passed bill that would authorize a special office within the government to investigate and monitor domestic terrorism, which is being pushed in the wake of a racist shooting in Buffalo that left 10 people dead. That's, I mean, I'm waking up, honey. I'm going to the Senate floor to vote against, investigating domestic terrorism. I mean, when did they become the anti?
Yeah, there used to be this point. And I was very young for this. I think I've only learned about this in retrospect. Like I wasn't really involved politically, or paying attention politically at this time. I was too young for that. But I look retrospectively and I see that Republicans have always sucked.
Yeah.
But there was a good period, Cold War era time, where they sucked, but they cared for this country.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because they were us looking in hindsight.
on the defense. They were big on where even now, you're not even big on the defense. You're inviting the end of our country.
They root for Russia over Ukraine. They're not in favor of having domestic terrorism units in the government to uncover.
It's not all Trump's fault, right?
No, this is, to be completely objective. Right now, we look back at George W. Bush and Mitt Romney and John McCain as being moderate, and God, could we have them back?
George Bush was probably arguably worse, honestly.
The truth is, at the time, the hatred of these politicians was so great. They were especially somebody like Mitt Romney, who we look back at as being kind of moderate. He was talked about as the most right-wing, crazy human being, binders full of women.
I remember the tape.
Oh, 47% of Americans don't pay taxes. It's God, that is the lightest thing that Trump has ever. If he said that, it would be that's Tuesday morning for Trump.
Yeah.
So I want to go to an interesting subject where, how do you feel about our healthcare system?
I have Medi-Cal.
You do?
I have Medi-Cal. And there's so many things I hate about it. Holding up on the phone for so long. Customer support doesn't know what they're talking about, whatever. I don't pay for anything. I go to the doctor. I don't have a copay. I go to the doctor on Robertson. Super, super, super nice urgent care.
You know what Republicans would say about this, right?
I fucking walk in. Beautiful. Beautiful,
Really?
beautiful urgent care. I get treated like a king. They give me my prescription. I walk out. I don't pay for my fucking medicine. And it's not true. I mean, usually it's like some simple antibiotics that I'm getting because I have a cold or something. But rarely do I have a copay for the medicine that I get.
This is where I
go
become
to
Republican.
therapy. I go to therapy once a week. I don't pay shit for therapy.
Like
I have
you're-
zero
this is-
copay.
This is actually it's a tough one because like I hear all of that and I'm happy for you, but we don't employ you full time, so that's your finances are your finances, but it's hard when you pay full pop for your insurance premiums and all this stuff, and then you hear stories like
So
this.
join me. So join
I
me.
can't.
Why
I
does
don't
it
qualify.
turn? No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, why does that make you want to take it away from me?
I don't
Why
want to
does
take.
it? Like,
no, it's not that I want
I'm saying like when you say like, oh, this makes me like feel like a Republican. Like if anything, this should make you like think, hey, it works. It works.
Yeah, because it works because the argument would be that the rest of the country is subsidizing it in some way, shape, or form.
Of course they are. I mean, shit. First of all, I'm paying for it too. I pay my fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Fucking pay my taxes. Let me fucking tell you. But it's like it would be cheaper for all of us to do this. Like, how do you not get that? You are spending more money. Like, if,
I'm spending so much. I mean, I am spending just on premiums, just to put it in context, thousands of dollars a month. And that's without ever visiting a medical facility. It's insane. Thousands a month without ever visiting a medical facility for me or my kids.
this is what I'm saying. Like, universal healthcare is one of those things that will push our society into the future. I don't have a doubt that it'll happen.
Yeah.
I think it'll happen in my lifetime, to be honest with you.
You do.
I do. I think Obamacare came at like the right moment and they got it passed in the right moment. And I think these midterms that are coming up,
Yeah.
I think Republicans are going to demolish Democrats. And I think we're going to
Have some years of
have some Fourth Reich moments, just the new right wing is going to come up and they're going to have a good 4 years. They're going to take away all our rights. They're going to fuck us up. And then I think the same way that these midterms are reactionary to Biden, I think there will be another big liberal reaction down the line that will be the next moment where we get to pass some meaningful legislation when it comes to gun control.
But this story
But that
was-
is also hopeful thinking.
Yeah, but this story was actually about this Camille Johnson, who's a popular YouTube and internet personality. She shared a picture of her sister's medical bill in which she highlighted a segment of the bill that docked her sibling for a brief emotional behavioral assessment, which was really that she was like they charged her sister $40 for crying, which is a couple of things. One is obviously it's where we're at with healthcare that they would do something like this. Second of all, it got me jealous. You want to know why?
Do you cry? Do you cry, Benji? Have
I
you had a good cry?
I don't cry. And I've been trying for years. And like my girl will be so excited when I get like a little like potential tear. But it's really, what about you? Do you cry?
Very emotionally suppressed, huh?
I go to, what do you want from me? I go to therapy every freaking week. Like, how do I pull the cry out of me?
So like when you're like talking about trauma, you're just talking about trauma.
Oh my God. It's so transactional and solutions based. It's so like, this happened and that's fucked up. And now let's figure out.
I'm not trying to make you sound evil. This is not my intention at all.
Evil?
I'm prefacing
it.
what I'm about to say. I'm not trying to make you sound evil. I don't think you're evil. Like it's just the way you process things, and I just want to have a better understanding of the way that you process things. When you like look at the videos from yesterday, for instance.
I can't.
Oh, so you just avoid it.
I avoid it.
What do you think will happen if you look at the videos?
I have kids. I can't do it. I've seen a couple videos of like moms running in sob. I can't do it.
What happens? What happens?
I just have to confront the reality of the fact that this is happening to another human being, and that it could happen to me, and that there's no solutions, and that there's utter devastation going on. And it is quote too much.
Too much, and then what happens? What do you feel like?
What would happen?
Like, is that what it'll take for you to cry? I mean, I know that I look at these photos. I don't even have to look at the photos. You listen to the fucking Daily, that they have these like dark ass interviews, and they have the music in the background. Then Michael Barbaro or that other girl who fucking hosts now, like you just start crying. Like you just do. Not even listen to fucking NPR up first, and they have like a 5-second soundbite.
Well, first of all, yeah, I feel like I feel like I have to be like the man and the dad and all this stuff. And like, I don't know if that's what it is.
Oh, that's some toxic masculinity right there. That is some toxic masculinity.
Is it?
You have to be the man. You have to be the dad, so you can't cry.
No,
that is toxic.
No, it's not even. It's no. There is something toxic about what we're talking about, and I don't know that I've totally figured out. I think it's self-care almost in a way, maybe like
you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
If you let yourself get too close to those feelings,
it's too selfish to like cry. I mean, I believe in experiencing my feelings. I go to therapy every week, and there's not one topic that is off limits. I literally invite criticism from my therapist. I say, please tell me where I could. Everybody in my life, even with you, I say like, tell me what I can go talk to my therapist about in the work context. It's not like there's no topic that I shy away from. I just, for some reason, when it comes to sad stuff, I want to push through it and get to a solution, because that's how I feel like the best way that I can deal with stuff. But I'm not like, I clearly believe in looking under the hood.
Have you had to deal with a lot of death in your life or no?
I had to deal with my dad on a deathbed when I was 5 years old, and basically having zero chance of survival. And when I was 5 years old, my dad had like a terminal prognosis. He was supposed to die. Not like these like stories where, he was supposed to die, and everybody in his group in the hospital died. And I was like in elementary school, and my parents had to go up to Seattle to get the best treatment at this place called the Fred Hutchinson. And my dad was in a bubble, and my mom was like living in an apartment in Seattle because that was the best place in the world to get the treatment. And I was so messed up and like couldn't handle it at 5 years old that I had to fly up to Seattle by myself with like a chaperone and like live up there while everybody in my school thought my dad was going to die. So I mean, like, I've dealt with a lot of like also peers, like some suicides, some drug overdoses, some like a very close friend.
And do those things bring you to tears, or never did?
I think they did. Like there was like death. There's just different, and then it got kind of like it's too much, and I don't let myself get to the cry.
You shut it down.
Yeah, I need to like. So,
interesting.
So is it? It takes no effort for you to cry.
It definitely takes effort for me to cry. I definitely block it out. Also, I think like one key difference between you and I, at least I'm assuming, is you're not mentally ill.
Well,
I
think that.
Not to say that if you're mentally ill, you're crying more. Just that like I have clinical issues.
Right.
And so like because of those clinical issues, I guess it comes a little easier. But no, like even my friends who are like pretty normal.
Yeah.
Like, they have a good cry.
I think I'll say this.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a friend who like recently went through a breakup.
Yeah.
He cried a little bit, but not much.
Right.
And I think that was just by nature of his.
I mean, how often are you crying?
How often am I crying?
Like tears.
2 to 3 times a week.
Oh my God. I literally have cried probably 2 to 3 times in years.
Oh God. Bawling my eyes out maybe like once every couple of months where I'm like,
You have to remember also.
Sniffling, blowing my nose, like crying.
Yeah, you have
but
to
in
remember.
therapy, like my eyes would get watery and like I shed a few tears every week.
You have to remember that my career has destigmatized me. I have people come to me with the craziest stories of abuse and all this stuff all the time, like a therapist. You have to understand that I grew up being exposed to all sorts of crazy stuff, and that I have this sense of responsibility. I think that like doesn't allow me to go there. I don't know. I can't really explain it. But on to a lighter note. Should insurrectionists be able to practice law, Arian?
Like, yeah.
Well, a friend of the show, Ted Cruz, is facing a disbarment case. So a group of lawyers want the state bar of Texas to investigate Republican U.S. Senator Ted Cruz for his leading role in attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. I love this story because there's something, you work so hard to become a lawyer, and, you know, he deserves to have pain inflicted on him. And like, there's something about, like, I don't know if there'll be anything with his, you know, state bar, if he ever will get disciplined or anything like that, but he deserves to be. He knowingly.
Yeah, there's the difference between the people who like actually believe the shit that they're spewing.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, that psycho Lauren Boebert.
Like I think of them the same way I think of like people who like plead not guilty by way of insanity. You know, it's the same thing. Like, you're fucked up in the head. Like you are just insane. But since you believe it, it's like, you believe it. Like, what can I say? But God damn.
Yeah.
You know?
So they basically said that Mr. Cruz knew that the allegations he was echoing had already been reviewed and rejected by courts, and he knew that claims of voter fraud or the election being stolen were false. And
it's like no surprise, but like, what's gonna happen? Also, what court is this happening in? You know, like, you already know these judges are all with it.
Yeah, well, like it's gonna be like the state bar of Texas, and I think that
it's fucking Texas.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, Teddy. Anyway, we're gonna go to.
Like, I'm sorry. My last thing to say.
Go for it.
Like, look at the governor of fucking Texas. Like, go look at the bills he's passed around gun legislation. He is responsible for the deaths of these kids. He is responsible, and he's like holding a press conference right now talking about how, oh, this is such a tragedy. It's your fault, bro. It's your fault.
Yeah, and Cruz basically already said, like, there's going to be no legislation. You know, nothing's going to happen. We just have to accept this. I think his tweet was, "We mightily hold up our people in support," or what he fervently support.
I hope there is a hell.
Yeah,
I hope there is.
He's a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit.
I truly hope there is an eternal hell of burning and damnation.
He's such a creep.
Really
I also
hope.
saw a clip of him like saying how unfair it is that Pete Davidson gets like hot girls. It's like, dude, you're the guy that basically Trump.
Can you
called
just go to Cancun and stay there?
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
But he's the guy who literally like let Trump call his wife ugly, and then you're out here like talking while you're married about how unfair it is that Pete Davidson gets hot girls. He's a fucking creep. Anyway, we're moving on to anything else you want to say, or you're good?
I think we emptied the can for the day.
Okay. We're moving on to legal tip of the week.
Stay friendly with your former coworkers. You never know when you will have some dispute relating to your employment arise and when you'll need witnesses to testify on your behalf. Former employees are often percipient witnesses, and they are less likely to testify in favor of the employer, the truth be damned, because they no longer work for the employer. Maintaining good relationships with your former coworkers may very well help you out a lot down the road.
Unauthorized deductions from your pay constitutes wage theft. This is Benjy Smith from Smithall, and we're a personal injury, employment, and class action firm. So a lot of the time, employers like to do something really scummy. They like to deduct from your paycheck expenses where a uniform gets dirty, there's stolen food, there's broken equipment, protective equipment. They want to take money from you that is their responsibility. That is illegal. These deductions are illegal. And if any of your employers ever try to charge you, either have you pay money out of your pocket or they take it out of your wages or your paycheck, you need to call an experienced employment attorney. So you can call us at 833-LawFlip. You can follow us, find us at Smith Law on social media. Contact us anytime. Arian, we laughed, we cried, or at least we tried to cry.
It was a hard episode.
It was a tough episode.
It was a heavier episode.
There's just no words. You know, somebody said yesterday, I saw somebody, it was like, who was it? It was Halsey. She basically wrote like 10 sentences. Basically, in each of the sentences said, I have nothing to add to the conversation.
Yeah. And I don't think anything we said.
No,
added.
it doesn't. But it's just venting. It's venting. It's venting. You had your therapy today. I have my therapy. You had your therapy before the episode. I have my therapy after. We did a little the part of the Oreo, the middle part.
Yeah. The cream.
The cream. We just did a little. You did a little post therapy venting. I do a little pre therapy venting, and we do it. I think it's relatable for anybody
our
who
listeners.
Stands in the way of taking these guns away from sick fucks is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time, LawFlip.